What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Justin Davis. Is it cold out there or what? My fingers are freezing off this week flying outside. I'm really enjoying flying though, because there's a lot less people around walking around outside, and I usually go to pretty remote locations, but you have someone show up every once in a while with a dog or something. But lately, man, everybody has been staying indoors. It's been raining, it's snowing in other regions, and it's down to 20 and 10 degrees in some areas. I know some friends of mine out in Norway are really having some pink fingers when they come back from flying. But today, you guys, let's get into this new Rabbit R249NX from Diatone. You might have saw this yesterday on my top 5 review. I did a just kind of a little sneak peek mini review in that 5 drone compilation for best of 2019, and it is the best of 2019, the early 2019 videos that are coming out for micro brushless. But this one placed number 4 in the number 5 category, and with really good reason, because of the versatility, the number of options that they have available for it. We're going to talk about those options that they're going to give us for the price. This little quad can do a whole lot, and this is the carbon version, not the polycarbonate sort of bendable prop guard frame version. This is a different review than that one, so this is a completely different quad than some of the other reviewers have reviewed at this point. But this one is my quad of choice out of those two. The one with the prop guards, get that one if you're brand new. If you want to kind of fly in a bigger indoor space, you can do that and bounce off things. I don't think it has quite as good flight characteristics as this one has. This one's going to be the better flying quad out of the two, absolutely, hands down. And I'm also going to review that other frame with the big giant prop guards. It does look pretty cool. It's a little clear frame. But without further ado, go ahead and make your comment down below before we get too far into this video. And remember to get entered to win that Tinyhawk by Emax. There is a giveaway January 2nd, and the 6S Mephisto awesome 5-inch race drone we're giving away as well. That's a $300 value we're giving away right here on the channel. So someone's going to get super lucky. Maybe you'll win them both. But if you'd also like to support me on Patreon, please do that, because you can contact me one-on-one. We can have Discord chats, and we do a lot of really awesome behind-the-scenes stuff right there. And we show you sneak peeks of what's right here in the shop, what's coming up. You get to see what I'm working on next for the next upcoming videos. It's a lot of fun. So let's go ahead outside now. Let's do a little flying with the R249NX carbon version. I think you're going to like what you see here. I love the versatility of this on 2, 3, and 4S capabilities. A very, very awesome flying quad. So let's go ahead out of the studio, and then we'll come back in. We'll take a little closer look under the hood here, and I'll unbox it and show you what this quad is all about. Here we go. All right, so we're going to test it out today on 2, 3, and 4S batteries. I'm going to show you how this little guy flies. It has super small little, I believe they're 1940 props. I'll have to check that again when I get in the studio, but they have the rates set up in acro to be pretty docile. I'd like it to be a little bit more nimble and pull a tighter roll. You can see this roll right here. That's not too bad. Full stick to the right. Not quite as snappy as I want it. If I cut the throttle, I can get a tighter roll. And this is definitely a micro capable of 4S if you want it. Flies really good on the stock props that it came with. Really locked in. Look at that hover. Still in acro. Solid hover. So I think Diatone wants it to be flown a little smoother than something like a Babyhawk, but these 1105 motors, they're gonna scream. Really nice for this size frame. And the tune is brand new, so if you want to grab the tune for this one straight from Diatone, you can do that, or you can grab it from my link down below. But let's go ahead and bring it in for a landing, and we will do some FPV. Here we go. So we'll go ahead and start out on a 3S battery for you guys. We're going to show you a 4S battery, and we're also going to show you some 2S flying. Starting out on the 3S felt really good. The nicest thing about these little 95mm quads is that you can just about get away with anything out in the field. There's a lot of ghost branches out there right now, and those are super thin branches that you can't see on the FPV camera if you've never heard that term before, but that's what that is. They'll grab your 1940 size props on here and just throw your quad to the ground. But here's just a little bit of a mini punch out with a little bit of a roll back down into the field here. Really liking the Runcam Swift 2 on here. I think that was the right choice for this quad. I can really see in the darks, and today it's really overcast, so whenever you have any shadows underneath trees, especially in the summer times when the canopies are up in the trees and things get dark underneath, the Swift 2 is going to be your camera choice right there. And man, these dogs out here today were just having a blast chasing our quads around. And I'm flying a 2-inch, so it's likely that the dog won't be able to catch up with it. And yeah, he never did. This little guy is super fast. And the range on this quad with my XM, and I only have one antenna on here, is all the way across this field. The 200 milliwatt VTX did pretty good within a football field, and because of some of the terrain here, you do see some flicker. When I go down below that hill right there, there's a little bit of flicker, but we're trying to stand on top of this hill so we have maximum penetration through underneath some of this canopy right here, making it all the way down to the picnic area on the far end over here, through these trees, up over the picnic tables, and back around. Man, this is a really fun quad, and this is where a micro brushless is a lot of fun. You can really get in and do some super tight proximity stuff, and then boost up above the trees and do some nice tight rolls and flips and whatever you really want to do with this quad. There goes another dog. He was headed back the other direction, and there goes a durability test over into the weeds, almost into the marionberry bushes, and now back through here over the picnic tables. And it's so cool because I can get in here so tight. I feel like I'm flying a 5-inch quad in a huge forest, and it's only a tiny little area. And I did find a tree right here. That was a good durability test for the camera. The Runcam 2 Swift survived, so the frame is good on this. I didn't come back with any broken frame components, and I probably hit 3 or 4 trees yesterday. I was really having one of those days, you know, when you're flying and you just keep hitting hard, solid objects. That was my day yesterday. Back through the bar there. You'll have to excuse my house. It's a little bit of a mess right now. The kids just destroy everything, but you know, that's how it goes when you have kids. Great place to fly though. Even on 2S battery, you can fly this one indoors, but be careful because it sounds like a baseball when it hits the wall. You want to make sure you fly when your wife's not home. But let's go back into the studio now and check it out a little closer up on the bench. All right guys, welcome back into the shop. Now we're going to jump into Diatone's almost quad of the year. R249NX came out a while ago. They were sending me photos of this, little sneak peek photos behind the scenes on Facebook, and they told me they were coming out with a bunch of new quads that I was going to have to wait for them. I was super excited to get those messages from Diatone, and when I first saw the promo photos for these quads, I thought they were some of the most unique looking micro brushless that has probably come out this year. Really cool looking frames, and I've seen them all as far as micro brushless goes. But let me talk about your options here. You can get black, white, and transparent, which is really, really nice. You can get a Runcam TX200 version, which I have here, which is going to get you 200 milliwatt. This is pretty much a standard VTX setup for even 5-inch race drones use that. So that'll get you out there more than a couple football fields. Really nice reception and range from that. A little better penetration than flying 25 milliwatts on a brushless micro, just way better. And Unified Pro option will get you up to like 600 milliwatts, so that'll get you super far out there. If you want to put a long range receiver on this thing and go crazy, you can do that with the Unified Pro 5.8 VTX. And we also have the Runcam Split Mini 2 option. That is not out yet, I don't believe, but it is coming. So you would be able to have an extra stack on this. There's plenty of room for one more stack because they did something smart here on this quad. Not only did they make a really cool translucent frame with a lot of top quality parts on here, including the Swift 2, they have extra room because they have a little bit higher spot in the back right here. And there is this little shelf right here. This will come off for the Runcam Split 2 version, and you'll have your Runcam Split 2 right here. So you have the flight controller. This is the F4 Mamba, and we have 25 amp Mamba ESCs down here, 4-in-1, 25 amp, good all the way up to 4S with this quad. And you have your XT30 in the back here. It's your standard micro connector right there for your batteries. And I usually take a zip tie, make sure you do that, and zip tie it off to the frame. Now the bottom is carbon, It's just a sexy little unibody frame with your Swift up front, sort of this polycarbonate top plate. And I got to give some props out to Kenny for the inspiration for this design, and Air Arsenals back in the day. One of the first guys doing micro brushless a really long time ago now, so props out to Kenny for that. But Diatone has done a really bang up job on this quad, mainly because they also powered up with Cobra. And Cobra, if you don't know about Cobra, if you're just getting into FPV, those guys make some really serious motors. They make really great larger motors with really aggressive KV settings for even as early as back when I was flying my Zool race quad. I had Cobra motors on there, big 2208 motors, giant motors, and now they're making micro motors, and these are actually the Mamba series 1105 5500 kV motors. They are branded Mamba on there, so they have the little Cobra logo right here. That is super awesome. I hope that Diatone brings more Cobra motors to their 5-inch releases. That would be a really nice addition for you guys in 2019. But you also have some other things on here that are really sweet, like colored wires. That's sort of a new trendy thing right now. You've got that flat bottom mount setup. You're not really going to be able to do a top mount because you don't want to risk cracking or breaking this. They did have this antenna folded back right here, and what I did was I snipped it off and raised it up with a zip tie right here and a little bit of heat shrink just around that dipole. You want the maximum distance, you're going to do it like this. Don't leave it back like this. And for my XM receiver, just under here, nice spot right here for any type of micro receiver. Look at that. It just barely takes up a little bit of space. And what's really cool is look at the very back of this frame. Check this out. There is another spot back here. It doesn't come set up with the buzzer on it, but there's actually a little spot back there for a really small micro buzzer. You see there's two little holes in the back of the frame right there for the wires to come up to connect to it. That is really neat. You could just take a tiny little dab of hot glue and maybe just tap it down in there and push it through there, and it would stay put. And I just want to give you a little closer look at the motor quality. This is a really nice looking motor. We have 1940 size props, and that is a 2-inch prop, guys. You can barely see it there because they are clear to match the frame. And I believe you get 2 sets in the box. That is a really nice, smooth flying prop. And the good news is, check this out. When I was flying my demo, I didn't break a single prop, and I crashed into head first into trees. And you know what? The other durability report, I've got to come back with 5 stars on this quad because the camera survived. The last time I flew the first version of this quad, the R90, I believe it was earlier this year, late last year, the R90 had side plates on it, and they were carbon and they broke, and I had an issue with that. And that was one of the issues that they fixed, and other people were printing TPU side mounts to try to alleviate some of that issue, but they've done it this time really smart, and they save space in the stack by making a piggyback VTX back here and putting the VTX up front, which is also switchable from your transmitter. You can go in there and change it using smart audio. I believe it's the throttle stick to the left and your pitch and roll stick to the right. It'll bring you into the menus and let you go change PID profile, change your bands and channels on here, as well as changing the power settings. So a really cool setup all the way around here. And in the very back, you can see that capacitor there. That's really going to clean up the video a whole lot. That solders directly to the flight controller. Over here, you have your gold Betaflight USB port right there. And you also have another little cable right here. And I believe that's coming off the back of the camera for doing some OSD changes inside your camera on your Runcam Swift. And we will go ahead now and let's take a look at the accessory bag I have sitting over here, because they include a whole bunch of stuff with this quad that I like. So you're looking at all the accessories that come in the box, and they also give you a card which gives you some information on that Mamba stack inside the quad. This is super cool because they have 2 versions of the ESCs. Now right here you're looking at the F405 Mini. It does have onboard flash for your black box storage, 16 megabytes there. It has Betaflight OSD, which is great, and it is a 20 by 23 millimeter, or the M3 setup for your bolts coming up through the top, and weighs about 3.5 grams, and it comes with these sort of blue dampeners, which is really great. They also have the schematic right here. If you need to figure this out, you can go along here and see what all these tabs are for. If you had to pop the top and really get into this, maybe you wanted to put on a different receiver, or you're going to add your buzzer. If you're looking for your buzzer tabs, let's just go around right here, right at the very top right here. So the buzzer tabs are actually going to be on the outside of this tab right here. So your buzzer that they gave you along with this actually plugs in. This is not for the Runcam. I thought it was a Runcam cable they had tucked back there, but this is actually for your buzzer. So all you have to do is plug in your buzzer right here before you go fly. Very important to set up your buzzer so that when you go down out into the weeds on a crash, you'll be able to hear your quad when you activate the beeper. Really important. But it's nice that they give you an extra harness. They give you the buzzer along with it. They give you an extra XT30, some little tiny plastic nuts, and those are for the mount, just in case you lost some taking it apart. It does happen from time to time. But also one thing that I have to mention that I saw on this pamphlet, check this out. There's two ESC boards here. You notice that? Two ESCs. Right here, this one on this side is the F440 that is capable of handling, it looks like a burst current of 50 amps on here. And the max battery that the 40 amp version can handle is up to 5S. It says input voltage 3 to 6S right there, but it does say the burst current is 50 amp for 5S. Kind of confusing. Maybe Diatone could confirm for us that this board could handle 6S. I have seen some other 6S setups with 40 amp ESC, so it might be possible. And the flight controller itself will actually handle 3 to 6S LiPo. So you could pair this up with the F440 and possibly get 6S on your micro if you want to go totally crazy. I don't really have a whole lot of interest in 6S micros, but the Mamba F25, that is the one that's on this particular quad. It will let you do from 2 to 4S like I was saying earlier, and you have a burst up to 25 amp. It says 5S there as well, but yeah, don't put this board on 5S. You'll end up frying it. And it also has the 20 by 20 mount with those two tabs in the very back for your battery leads. But pretty cool that they give you all that information here, and you can look at that when you get the quad yourself. But you also get some zip ties, which I love, for raising up the antenna off the very back of the quad, which is nice. You get some 3M sort of rubber type of sticky back stuff for the bottom of the quad if you want to do it that way, but I always recommend doing a strip of Velcro on here. Just going to be a much better choice for keeping the battery on in really hard crashes. I usually just set this stuff to the side, and I really love their hardware that they chose, that they're using on the props going down into the motors. These are really nice screws. I have seen some prop hardware recently, and it's important that you use a good metal on the M2 bolts because they will strip really easily. And also don't over tighten these or they will actually strip the motor. So you can see they already have Loctite on these. Isn't that awesome? Really, really smart company. You also get some stickers in the box, which is awesome. And you get prop guards with this bad boy. So if you want to add prop guards on it, you can. Just make sure you use the little bit longer screws that are going to accommodate the extra plastic. There's a few more millimeters below here that you're going to have to go through. Make sure you don't take these off, of course, and use the long screws back on your motors again, because you'll destroy the motors as soon as you plug in a battery. One last thing you get is some extra hardware, and this is awesome. This is all labeled right here, all the way up to M2 9, the smallest one being the M2 3 millimeters, all the way up to 9 millimeters there, and another one of these awesome Diatone battery straps. So I've got the scale on. Let's go ahead and set the 239 on the scale, see what we get. 78.1 grams. Now let's go ahead and put the GNB 300 milliamp battery. I've been flying a lot of these lately and I really love these. I'm gonna put the link for that down below. If you're a beginner, start out on 2S and work your way up to a 3 and 4S battery. So That's getting us up close to 100 grams, right about 98.7 grams total takeoff weight with a 2S, and that's going to get you close to 3 minutes flight time. You can go a little bit bigger on that battery if you want, but remember, the lighter they are, the better they fly, just less flight time you get. Now we have a 3S Tattoo 75C battery. We're going to put that on there, and that's a 450 milliamp, and it's going to get us up almost 120 grams right there, right about 119 grams. Still settling a little bit there. 118.5, 118.4, and it's locked in. Okay. Now let's go ahead and put the 4S 450 on there. This is also a 75C battery. It flies really great. 133.6 and locked in. Not bad. Really competitive weight. So now we can go ahead and summarize what we have here. What are you looking at here that makes this quad so special? Well, we have a really reliable flight controller ESC combo. The Mamba has been on other types of Diatone micro brushless this year, and I really love it. It performs great. They also spend the extra time to tune this for you guys. So we've been through 3 different PID tunes in the last couple weeks, and now we're up to the latest PID tune on it, and it flies amazing. I just did the entire CLI dump on it a couple days ago and flew it for you guys for the last few days, and I am loving this quad. So I have to say 2 thumbs up to Diatone engineer. The guys that are engineering the Diatone team, pat yourself on the back, because this is a really awesome performing quad, and for a whole bunch of reasons. It has most of the bells and whistles that we're looking for on here. We have a nice durable 3mm unibody frame, which is extra tough. We have super smooth 1940 props with the Mamba motors on there, and we have an ESC capable of handling 4S on a micro brushless. And just to give you some history of micro brushless power systems on a 98mm frame or even around a 100mm frame, 2-inch props are notorious for bad vibes with these 4S batteries. So it's extremely hard to tune such a small prop to a 4S battery. And I was building them, some of the first ones that were ever built, trying to get 4S on a micro brushless 3 years ago was extremely hard, unless it was a 3-inch. Anything under 3-inch really had a hard time handling 4S. So it's finally almost 2019, and we're at the era where 4S, 5S, 6S is starting to become a reality on micro brushless, and I think that's just awesome. We're at a really good place in micro brushless right now. Tons of power. They feel like 5-inch race quads. When I first got into it, people told me, oh, these feel like a 5-inch race quad, and I said, no, they don't. They do not feel like a 5-inch race quad. But now I have to retract that statement, and I have to go back and kind of pedal backwards a little bit and take that statement back. So, and the Mamba F4 on here is super legit. Really, really nice flight controller and very reliable. So I think everything we have on here, including the TX200 on here, the 200 milliwatt VTX, it's what you want on a micro brushless. I'm tired of seeing micro brushless that have 25 milliwatt only on there, because at this point we should have switchable micro VTXs. There's a bunch of them out there. So companies, if you're building these quads, put 200 on there. If you want to go crazy, put the Unify on there and make it a better value for your customers. And Diatone is cool because they're giving you that option, whereas some of the other companies don't give you quite this many options. And if you want to make it a little mini cinema quad, you can do that as well by adding on the Runcam Split 2 option, which is really great. And you can put an SD card on the side and record 1080p video. But 5 stars for durability, 5 stars for performance, and 5 stars all around for the Rabbit R249NX Carbon Edition. This is hands down my choice so far, between this one with the built-in prop guards, the entire plastic frame version of this, and the carbon ones. It's just the one I like a little bit better, and I think they always fly a little bit better without the prop guards, and that's just going to be my opinion on that. But thanks again for watching, you guys. You will absolutely have a ball with this quad if you decide to get it. It is well worth the money, and it just looks really cool. But thanks again for subscribing and hanging out with me, you guys. Hopefully you're having a happy holidays, and you're watching a lot of Christmas shows, but I know I am with my kids. Take care, guys. I'm Justin Davis. I'll see you on the next one.